TorahAnytime.com.
We thank the Aylam, the Kala Kadosh, for coming to support the yeshiva, and the hosts, and Rishon Chaviv, the Rabbanim Shalita, who came to grace this affair. And the Rebbe should hope it should be a nachas ruach le'ayla, nachas ruach l'sata. Our coming here to add to the schusim that we need for a gemachas imatayva. The most important avodah of Yom HaKadosh is, of course, Zman HaMikdash, the Ketayres, which is, as Rashi says in Parshas Kairach, Chaviva Mikara Karbanos. And the Ketayres finds its way into the Kodesh HaKadoshim on Yom Kippur. So, one of the halachas is V'nasan HaKetayres ala eish Lifnei Hashem. The Ketayres has to be prepared Lifnei Hashem, in the presence of the Shechina which dwells in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. And the Gemara says Lifnei Hashem means Shlo Yisakim B'chutz V'yachnes B'fnim. Don't prepare the Ketayres outside of the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Don't pour the samemanim of the Ketayres from the kaf onto the machta containing the burning coals, the embers taken from the mizbeach. And then, when the Ashan already comes up, then walk into the Kodesh HaKadoshim. No, you have to prepare it in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, in the very presence of the Hashras, Hashchina, which finds itself in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. V'haitzi miliban shel tzedaikim. Tzedaikim, who were a powerful kayach, unfortunately, in the times of the Beis Hamikdash Hasheni, at the end of the Beis Hamikdash, at the end of the times of the Beis Hamikdash, the tzedaikim didn't believe in Torah Shebe'al Peh, and they argued that the Ketayres must be prepared outside, and then the burning Ketayres should be brought in Lifnim, into the Kodesh HaKadoshim. And they have their way of explaining it with psukim, contrary to what the Chachamim say, that the Ketayres must be prepared in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. For Nasnas HaKetayres ala eish, the samemanim, the psamim, should be put upon the fire with Lifnei Hashem, in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. And the corresponding Yerushalmi in Masechta Yoma adds that the tzedaikim argued v'chi kach oisen lefnei melech. That's what you do in the presence of the king. You prepare his meal in his very presence. The meal should be prepared in the kitchen and then brought into the king's royal dining room, b'derech kavod. It's not a kavod for the king to prepare and cook the meal in his very presence. Why do you prepare the Ketayres in the Kodesh HaKadoshim in his very presence? So therefore, they argued you have to prepare the Ketayras Midachutz and bring it in Midafnim. And the Gemara tells us a story, a mindset of Steiki Kain Gadol. There was a Kain Gadol who managed to be appointed as Kain Gadol. He was at Steiki. It cost him a good sum, but he was appointed as Kain Gadol. And he was Mesake mi bechutz and machnes midafnim. He brought in the Ketayras already burning from the outside. He brought it in the midafnim, because he says ki ba'ana neira ala kapayras. And afterwards, after the Aveda, they found them dead outside, and Taylayim Yaitse Meichaitmei. Worms came out of his nose. That's the Gemara. We have to understand why, this Kain Gadol endangered himself by going into the Kodesh HaKodashim with having prepared the Ketayras Midachutz. If the Chachamim would have found out about it, they would have immediately put him to death. He was Ma'aseh Nefesh to prepare the Ketayras Midachutz. Why was it Ma'aseh Nefesh for that? In addition, we have to understand what it seems that the taina of the tzedaikim is a logical taina. It's not a covet for the melech to prepare his meal in his very presence. You have to prepare it outside, in the appropriate place, in the kitchen, and then bring it into him. Why do the Chachamim hold that it must be prepared in the Kodesh HaKodashim? The Tzedaki is right. And what puzzles us is that when the Yerushalmi brings the argument of the Tzedaikim, the Yerushalmi does not bring the retort of the Chachamim, of the Prushim. They didn't answer him, as it's usually done in the Gemara when there's an argument between the Prushim and the Tzedaikim. They didn't answer him. They didn't have anything to answer. Rosh Hashanah isn't specific dafke for Yisrael. Rosh Hashanah is a Yom Tov, it's a global Yom Tov. More than that, it's a day. The entire universe is being nidain on Rosh Hashanah. Malachim v'chafreizim lifkeit al tzvamarim baden. All the nations of the world, every person in the world, every creature in the world is being nidain on Rosh Hashanah. Or the countries. Medina is by Yamim. It's a day for the entire world. Masha Enkein, Yom HaKadosh, Yom Kippur, is solely for Yidden alone. The Goyim have no shaykhs with Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is a day of dveikus between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Knesset Yisrael. Knesset Yisrael is uplifted to the Rabbeinu Shalom, as I will Amias Hashem explain, in an oifen of a chasna and a kala, a kiruv of like ben ish liyashtay. Rosh Hashanah, we daven to the Rabbeinu Shalom, we request, we beseech, we ask Rabbeinu Shalom, Anu Amecha, Yata Malkeinu, you're our king. We are your subjects. Please provide us with whatever we need, like a king provides for his country. Yom Kippurim, yes, we say something in addition, which which we didn't say on Rosh Hashanah. Anu rayasecha v'yata dodeinu. A chazan and a kala. Anu rayasecha, we are your mate. V'yata dodeinu. And you are a beloved husband. It's a different relationship with the Rabbeinu Shalom than we had on Rosh Hashanah. This kiruv of Yom HaKadosh has its shayrish in Torah Shebe'al Peh. The Sfera Magdashim explain that Torah Shebe'ksav, the written Torah, this is like a man, the chazan. Torah Shebe'al Peh, that's the Isha. The Chachmei Yisrael, they darshan the Torah. They are the women in the house. They are the Akeres Abayis, the mistress of the house. She rules, she decides. All the operations of the home are under her guidance, under her care. She takes care of all the Balbatishkeit, the Wirtschaft of the house. The Chachamim, being Torah Shebe'al Peh, Kala, Vayibiyam Kalas Moshe. And Rashi says, Nitnu Lo Torah Kekala. That's the Torah Shebe'al Peh. The Chachamim, they darshan the Torah. They are Geiser the Gzeiros. They are Mefaresh the Mitzvahs, according to the Ruach HaKodesh which dwells upon them. They maintain the Balabatishkeit of the house, the Balabatishkeit of the Torah, the Anhaga of the house, how Klal Yisrael should behave according to the Torah. It's the Chachamim that decide that. Anu rayasecha. We are the Kala. We maintain the Balabatishkeit of the Torah, the Anhaga Klalis of Klal Yisrael. So, the Taina of the Tzedaikim falls away. Because being that we are the Kala, that Knesset Yisrael, the Chachmei Yisrael, or the Akeres Abayis, they're the Isha, that negates their argument. Their argument was, in front of a king you prepare his meals. Between a husband and his wife, this is not a pagam. The king, the royal queen, when there are the subjects, the people of their presence, they behave like a king and they behave like a queen. But sort of the recheretz that is required for the king. But when they're alone, let's say they're alone and nobody is there, and they're chatting, and the king is hungry. His wife, the queen, says, "You're hungry? Come with me into the kitchen. I'll prepare you something." When they're alone, out goes royalty, out goes majesty. Then you have intimacy. It's a different pchina altogether. There's nothing wrong if the queen would prepare something, a little snack, in the kitchen, in the presence of the king. They're a husband and a wife. The Yerushalmi says, "V'chel adam lo yiyeh b'yoyhel moyed, b'vayaron el HaKodesh." No one is allowed to be there. The Kohen Gadol, who represents Klal Yisrael, When he walks into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, Klal Yisrael actually walks in. He represents them. Only he is allowed to be there. And Yerushalmi says, Afiru oisam shepnayim kipnei Adam. When the pasuk in Yechezkel speaks about the Malachim, he describes the Malachim that pnayim kipnei Adam. The face is like Adam. Even a Malach isn't allowed to be in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. No Malach has the right to go into the Kodesh HaKadoshim when there is the Yichud between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Knesset Yisrael in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, when the Kohen Gadol comes in with the Ketayos. The Kodesh HaKadoshim, that's a place of Yichud. That's a place of the Kruvim, the two Kruvim, which signify the Chesed and the Kala. And in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, a new Hanhaga comes to light. Anu Rayasecha. We, Yidden, we are your Kala, Rabbeinu Shalom. Rosh Hashanah, it was Ata Adonaynu. You were the master of the world. The king on Rosh Hashanah goes out to welcome his subjects, the masses of people who stand downstairs, down outside, and they sing shiras v'sishbachis for him, they praise him, they sing anthems for him, and he stands on the gezustra, on the porch, and he listens, like the malachim in heaven, the mishabechim, yamim, and mefuarim. And the Malachim say in Yaitzel, on Bechas Yaitzel, Rachem Aleinu Adaynu Zainu, the Rabbeinu Shalom listens. All the tefillos of the year, we daven to the Rabbeinu Shalom. We talk to the Rabbeinu Shalom. We pray. We beseech. We entreat Rabbeinu Shalom. We're asking you a favor. And the Rabbeinu Shalom listens. This is what a Shemoneh Esrei is. There's one exception, the Shemoneh Esrei of Yom Kippur. In the Shemoneh Esrei of Yom Kippur, true, we start talking to the Rabbeinu Shalom, but then the Rabbeinu Shalom talks to us. In the Shemoneh Esrei, the Rabbeinu Shalom talks to us. You won't find it in any other Shemoneh Esrei. In the Bracha Hamtzoyos of Yom Kippur, and the Rabbeinu Shalom begs us, Tayra Yiddische Kinder, he says in the Shemoneh Esrei, Machisicha av pisha'echa, v'cha'anan chateisecha. The Rabbeinu Shalom is talking to us. Please, Tayra Yiddische Kinder, Shuva Eilai, Kiki Alticha. The Rabbeinu Shalom begs us. Abeitza bayuns, Shuva Eilai, come to me, Kiki Alticha. I'm redeeming you from all your Aveirus, from all the Chatzitzos between us. The Rabbeinu Shalom talks to us in the Shemoneh Esrei. Because on Yom Kippur, we have the Hanhaga of Chesed and Kala. And he talks to us with Ava and Chibur. So, it's fitting and proper that the Kohen Gadol may prepare the Ketayros, the Lechem Ishal Hashem, b'fnim, in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. There is a heimishkeit, there is an intimacy. Ish v'yisha, titzedaikim, v'shitasam. They deny their kaifer in Torah Shebe'al Peh. Their kaifer in the principle, in the very concept of Anu Rayasecha. They don't believe in that. They don't believe in Torah Shebe'al Peh. They don't believe that the Chachmei Yisrael are the ones in charge of the kitchen. And they're governing all the affairs of the house. They don't believe that Chachmei Yisrael and Knesset Yisrael is the Akeres Abayis. L'shitasan, you have to prepare lebechutz. Therefore, this argument between the Prushim, the Chachamim, and the Tzaddikim, where you prepare the Ketores, is not like the other arguments that we find in the Gemara like, let's say, Sfiras HaOmer, when do you start counting Mamachas HaShabbos? Does it mean after Pesach or does it mean after Shabbos? So there, when the Tzaddikim argued their case, the Chachamim answered them. They retorted. They were mevazer them, like we find in the Gemara. But here the Chachamim kept quiet. Because this...
It's 8 a.m.
that the Kohen Gadol comes into the Kodesh HaKadoshim and prepares the meal in front of Melech Malchei HaMelachim. This is an inyan that encompasses the entire Torah. It's an entire, and this is an inyan that the Tzaddikim are kaiferim. It's an entire philosophy that encompasses the general attitudes. They won't accept the principle of noraim. You can't answer them. It's the general machlokes. You don't answer with one argument on what is the general machlokes. You can't answer them on noraim. They're kaifer on noraim. Yom Kippurim, the Kohen Gadol representing Klal Yisrael, comes into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, a place where no chet can reach. Nothing can be pagan in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. No malach can come in there. No mikatri can come in there. Only salicha, mechila, and kapara. The anaga of the Yemaisa Mashiach. The anaga of Adam Arishon before the chet. Human being was created with 5 senses. When Adam Arishon ate from the Eitz Hadas, it was paigim, all his chushim, all his senses. There are 5 senses. 4 chushim were nivgam then. The Sfarim HaKadoshim bring that by the chet of Eitz Hadas, Ibn Yisrael talks about it, he brings it from the Kadmonim, by the chet of the Eitz Hadas, we find all the chushim, all the senses, they all partook in the Aveira of the Eitz Hadas, except one chush is not mentioned, the chush HaReyach, which is the chush of Mashiach. V'arichai b'yiras Hashem. Mashiach is going to have a very special chush. The chush of smell. If 2 baladinim will come before him, he will smell them and he will know who was right, who was wrong. He has a chush HaReyach because of his yiras Hashem. That's the anhag of the Yom Shekulei Shabbos. Shabbos Kala Malkisa. Today, one day in the week is Shabbos. There will be an eternal Shabbos, a Yom Shekulei Shabbos. The Yikar Aveda of Yom Kippur is the Ketores. The Chush HaReyach, which wasn't subjected to Pagam by Adam Arishon. The Chibas Yisrael, the Chiba, that the love, affection that Rabbeinu Shalom has to Klal Yisrael, that is represented in the Ketores. That the Ketores is brought in as with the relationship of the Kala to the Chesed. The Yahavas Olam Ahavtech. Nothing in the world can be paigim that Ahava. That Reiki was paigim. He denied the Pchina of Kala Malkisa, the Pchina of Shir Hashirim, because in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the Hanaga was of the 2 Kruvim. the chassan and the kala. And the Kohen Gadol went in and prepared inside as the kala and the chassan, the kala to the chassan. You have the two kruvim there. It's Kodesh HaKadoshim. There's another Kodesh HaKadoshim that Klal Yisrael has. Shir HaShirim. Shir HaShirim, Rashi says at the very beginning of Shir HaShirim, Kol HaShirim Kodesh. Shir HaShirim Kodesh Kadoshim. Shir HaShirim is the Megillah of the Chassan and the Kala. Just like the Kodesh HaKadoshim in the Beis HaMikdash, at the place of the Kruvim, is the site of the Chassan and the Kala. The Ktoiras, the Chiba between the Chassan and the Kala, the Anurai Yasecha, the Yikir Avodah Yom Kippur is the Ktoiras B'fnai B'fnim. The Megillah of Chassan and Kala, Shir HaShirim of Kodesh HaKadoshim, starts with Shir HaShirim Asher L'Shalaimai. And the Chachamim, right in the beginning of Shir HaShirim, and Rashi makes this, Rashi emphasizes that. Don't you think that the Shir HaShirim is dealing with the Gashmi-istic situation? It's Kodesh HaKadoshim, and the Chassan is the Ravanya Shalayim, and the Kala of Shir HaShirim, the Kala Slavanin, she is Knesset Yisrael. And Shir HaShirim starts with Shir HaShirim Asher L'Shalaimai. Shalaimai isn't the king Shalaimai, the son of David. Shalaimai is the Ravanya Shalayim. Melech Shalaim Shalai, Chazal tell us. But here, we have a problem. It says Shalaimai with a hey. It doesn't say Shalaimai with a vav, which means Shalaimai, Melech Shalem Shalai. But we can give ourselves a native with this problem. In Rashi, in Parashas Lech Lecha, Avram Avinu came to Eretz Yisrael, Vayet Ahalai. He erected his Ohel. So Ahalai ends with a hey. It should have ended with a vav. Ahalai, he erected his tent. So Rashi brings from Chazal, Betchila Nata Ohel Ishtoi, V'achakach Nata Es Shalai. So we have Ahalai ending with a hey. We have a kri and a ksiv. The kri is Ahalai, as if with a vav. The ksiv is Ahala, with a hey. Now, when we read something which the Sefer wrote, the Sefer, in the Sefer Torah, writes the word Ahala, with a hey. When the Bakaira reads it, after the Sefer has written it, he reads Ahalai. In other words, Betchila Nata Ohel Ishtoi, because the Sefer wrote that first. That's the Ksiv. Yachakach Nata Ahalai. That's the Kri. The same thing is of Shalaimai. The Megillah of Shir HaShirim is the Megillah of the Chassan of the Kala, of the Kodesh HaKadoshim. And the Ravanya Shalayim, the Gemara tells us in several places, is Mechabeit, the Tzadikim and Klal Yisrael, more than his own covered. So therefore, it's a Shalaimai with a hey. First comes the Shalaim of the Knesset Yisrael, the Kala, and then we read the Kri, Shalaimai, Melech Shalaim Shalai. The Ikir Avodah on Yom Kippur, in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, in the place of the Chassan and the Kala, is Iktoilis. Shir HaShirim is the Megillah of Ktoilis. We'll see a Davar Pele in Shir HaShirim. In such a small Megillah, which a Yid says Erev Shabbos, and he'll say it very nicely, slowly, in 10 minutes. The entire Shir HaShirim has one theme, K'toyres, repeated again and over again. The beginning of Shir HaShirim, Yeshikeini min shikei spil, l'reyach shmenecha toivim. Already the Chush HaReyach. Then we have Raita, Basi Legani Achaisi Kala, Arisi Moiri and Besami. Again, Chush HaReyach. Akfanim Smada Nasnu Reyach. Reyach Shmanayach Mikol Psamim. Psukim, one after the other, talk about Reyach. Reyach Sal Mosayach Ki Reyach Levanai. Ma'ava Holoisem Koroshi Psamim. Afichi Gani Yizulu Besamav. Reyach and Reyach, all over again from Shir HaShirim. And then Doigi Yorok Leganon, Larukas Abaysim, Reyach Hapech, Katafika, Mikuteres Maru Lavaina, and Koroshi Psamim. Reyach and Reyach, Psamim and Psamim, over and over again. The Chush HaReyach, the Megillah, starts off with Reyach, with Psamim. The Megillah ends with Psamim. The very last pasuk of Shir HaShirim is Barach Daidi, V'dmei Lecha L'tzvi, Aleyaifa Ha'ayalim, Al Harei B'Psamim. The entire Megillah talks about Psamim. All the Chushim, as mentioned before, were nifgam by the chet avodah marisha. The chush re'iyah, sight, v'teira isha k'toy veitz l'mare, taste, toiv l'machal, negiya, touch, loy sigu bay, and as Rashi brings the Chazal, the Nachash pushed her against the eitz, and she touched. Shmiya, Ki Shemata B'Kol Ishtecha. Reyach is not mentioned by the Chush, by the Chet Avodah Marisha. Because Reyach is the Pchina of Shir HaShirim, of Chassan and Kala, that never is subject to any pigam. The Yahavas Oyla Mahavtech. This Ava, HaKadosh Baruch Hu to Knesset Yisrael, is an eternal Ava. Avas Oylam Haftanu Hashem Elokeinu. This Tzedaki that prepared me b'chutz, he was kaifer in Shir HaShirim, in the Pchin of Shir HaShirim. He was kaifer in Avas Oylam Haftanu. He was kaifer in the Pchin of Chasna V'Kala. He was kaifer in Shir HaShirim, which is Kodesh Kedoshim. He was kaifer in the Chush HaReyach. So therefore, his einish was that the Rabban Yisraelim killed him, and Tayalayim, worms, came out of his nose. The Aver of Reyach. Yidden, even today, say the Aveda, Neshama Farms Vasainu, we do the Aveda on Yom Kippur. And the climax of Yom Kippur is in the Ne'ilah. Like the Sfara Magdashim explained, Ne'ilah means that we are closed in a private room with the Rabban Yisraelim. Ne'ilah, it's locked. No one can get in. That's the Yichud of HaKadosh Baruch Hu Knesset Yisrael. By Ne'ilah, that's where the Chassan is, that's where the Kala is, that's where the Kruvim are. And this is a Yom Kippur that we are preparing to come to. But in order that we should be able to live with Yom Kippur, to have a Hagasha in Yom Kippur, depends on our Hachana. the Rabbanu Shalom gave us 9 days to prepare to the 10th, to Yom Kippur. And the Ikka preparation is what Yidden shout on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. They shout with tshuva, with tefillah, with tzedakah, ma'avir and Ezraya Gzayra. All the Yidden are meyuchet with Rabbanu Shalom Yom Kippur. But that there should be no chatzitza, there should be that we should actually feel it, we should live it. For that we need the preparation of tshuva, tefillah, and tzedakah. Of course, we all came here tonight for tzedakah. What can be a bigger tzedakah than being mezaka Yiddish bacherim with Torah, with Amunah, with Yiras Shemayim, that they are fed in the yeshiva, which lasts their entire lives and the dairis. This is the proper hachana of tzedakah before Yom Kippur. I saw a very wonderful mashal in one of the Sfarim HaKadoshim that there were a group of Yidden who were very much in a hurry to reach a certain destination. They were traveling with a horse and a wagon. It was a shvacha old horse and a shvacha old wagon, and then they had to ascend a hill, go up the hill, and as the horse is starting going up the hill, they stopped. They can't do it. It's too heavy for them. What should they do? So they decided that there's too much weight on the wagon. The horses can't pull it up. So let's throw whatever we can discard, whatever we can get rid of, throw it off the wagon, make the wagon easier so that the horses will be able to go up. And everybody started opening up his valises and throwing out whatever he can do, whatever he can do without, so that the wagon should be easier. So one person there, not too much of a chacham, said, the heaviest article in this wagon are the wheels. Let's throw off the wheels. And he said, Shaita should be ayah. Without the wheels, we can't move an inch. How do we get a Gemach Hasima Taiva? How are we Zayche Bedin? Through tzedakah. So now it's hard. It's difficult times. The economy is at a very low matzav. So we have to be prudent. We have to reduce our expenses. So the one who is a shaita would say, I give less tzedakah. I can't give as much as I used to. Shaita should be ayah. That's our wheels. That's what keeps it going. Davkin the schus of tzedakah. The Rabbanu Shalom will help us that we will emerge from this difficult time and be zoiche to hatzlacha, to baracha, to Yeshua. So Rabbanu Shalom should help. We need schusim. We should all be zoiche to daven with tefillah, warme tefillah, with ahava, with yira, with simcha, with appreciation of what Yom Kippur really is. We should be zeicha to make a nachas ruach to the Rabbanu Shalom, and the Rabbanu Shalom will make us in turn a nachas ruach, and we all should be zeicha and the schus of our tzedakah and all our ma'asim tovim, and with matnas china we should be zoichet to Sefer Chaim, Racha b'Shalom, V'Fanasa Tova, V'Zeres Tova, Yeshus, V'Chameis, Anu, V'Chal Beis Yisrael, V'Chaim Tova L'Shalom.
Thank you very much again for coming and checking. You've just experienced